Mine-
Yeah, my son got his.
Yeah, we got them this week. So you can't even drop it off at the school. You have to get it to the post office. I don't know if it's by June 9th or June,
Yeah.
some date like that.
Folks, before we get rolling, I just have to, I have to make a disclosure to you. The 11:20 appointment, the complainant is JPC ARD. My law partner, Tom Mansfield's representing that one, and he's going to be appearing, so I will recuse myself from that and I'll step out.
Okay.
Can you make me co-host again, please?
Yeah, we've got your third appointment in the waiting room, Bruce Murphy. Val Kilmer should be first, then JPC ARD, then Bruce Murphy. And Bruce is here.
Whenever you want, I will call Val Kilmer because I believe that's what I'm supposed to do.
Oh,
Yeah, I would get started then.
yeah.
Let's do it.
Call her right now then, Donna. That'd be great.
Okay.
The earlier the better.
Exactly, before it
Does that
gets too
mean-
hot.
Should we
Can't
just
do
leave
anything.
Lisa out? Should we just leave Lisa out until after her person or bring her back for Val?
She comes in time.
Oh, there she is.
No, I'll be right back. Go
Oh.
ahead and call Val. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Hi, Val. It's Donna at the town hall. Are you ready? Okay, I'm going to put you on speakerphone to the grievance board. Okay, Valerie, you're on speaker.
Hello, everyone.
Hi,
Hello.
Valerie.
Morning.
Good morning.
I know some of you. What is the procedure? Do you want me to talk or do you want to talk to me?
We're going to talk first. I'm going to read an oath that you agree to, and then you're going to walk us through your grievance. We're going to have 10 minutes to go through it. If we're talking at the 8-minute mark, I'll give you a 2-minute warning, then we're getting close to the end, okay?
Yes.
Okay. You solemnly affirm that the information you're about to give will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability to do so.
Yes.
Okay, tell us about your property.
I didn't hear you.
Tell us about your grievance and your property. Why are you here this morning?
So I live at 12 Wine Coop on the village side of Wine Coop Lane. My house and 10 Wine Coop Lane are identical houses, probably the only two totally identical houses in the whole village, built about the same time, same size. So I think our two houses are the smallest houses on the village side of Wine Coop. All the rest of the houses are apartments or two families or bigger, more modern, built later. Ours were built in the 50s, and they're all kind of a whole different thing. So I feel that these two little brick houses should be assessed about the same as a little higher than the ones across the street. I compared mine to 11 Wine Coop. It's a brick house built about the same time as mine. It's 300 square foot smaller, but it has a full dry basement that opens out to the backyard that could be used for livable space. So I tend to think that with the assessment, I think you have me at 319.5, and the extra village tax, you're putting my house and the Winnie house next door at quite a disadvantage, because the taxes, not only will we expect to get more money for our houses because they're assessed more, anybody buying them will have to pay a higher tax because of the extra village tax. And so there's no really difference in the quality of life between the town side and the village side of Wine Coop. I've been told I'm assessed higher because I'm on the village side, but really we're on a village road. We get the same services. We have the same ambiance, trees and rock and the same thing. So there's no reason our two houses on this side of the street, these small houses, should be assessed a great deal higher than across the street. So those are my main concerns. My house is all on rock. You can't build off it. I have a very odd septic system. Won't go into that, but there would be no expanding this house. It's a 1,400 square foot house with a dirt crawl space, no attic, just a crawl up in the attic. And so there's not much storage. So I just feel that we should be in the neighborhood of what the smaller houses, there's 5 of them on the town side. These are all the houses that were originally on Wine Coop Lane before all the newer houses got built going farther down the lane. So that's my feeling. I put a fair assessment at between 275 and 280,000, which is still more. The house across the street, I think, is assessed at 262. And that one's 1,100 square foot, but it has the full basement and you can walk right out to the outdoors. So it could be, and it has a bathroom down there. It could be usable space. So that's my story. Okay?
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have any questions for
Thank you,
Valerie?
Valerie. Valerie, in your letter, I have one question. In your letter, you noted that you had it reduced a bit. What was the original that it was reduced from?
It was originally assessed at 367.
And do you know what you were paying before the reassessment, Valerie?
I was assessed at 240, 242, 243, something there. So the prior assessment sort of had us in a little neighborhood here. They didn't look at the town village line. They had this front end of Wine Coop, which are older homes, well, in its own little area. And not quite like the village downtown. It's a mile to the traffic light, not really walkable for everyone. And it's more country living here than village living. But we love it.
Anybody else have any questions for Valerie? I see a lot of head shaking. Okay, so Valerie, the next step of the process is for the board to deliberate over the next week or so. The town will get a letter out to you in early July with the decision.
When do these new assessments go into effect?
July 1st.
July 1st, right?
So they will hit our school taxes?
Correct.
September, yes.
Yeah. So I do want to reiterate that the higher assessment would really put mine and the Winnie house in a kind of negative place because people wouldn't want to pay all those extra taxes when they could live across the street much cheaper. And there's very few small affordable houses left in the village. So I'm hoping, or even in the village area. So I'm hoping that the assessors decide to keep it at a more reasonable assessment where the taxes are more doable for a senior or for a young family. This is not a suitable house for a big family. One of the bedrooms, you couldn't even put a bed in. You can put a crib in it, but not a bed. So it's just a suitable house for a young starter family or a senior, and I hope it's not going to be unaffordable tax-wise. Thank you.
Thank you.
Valerie.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Am I done, Donna?
Yep, hang up.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Should we take Bruce next? I don't see the JPCARD person. Is everybody okay with that?
Yep.
Sure.
You're on mute. Tom.
Yeah, Justin, there you go.
Hello.
Morning.
Hi.
All right, never mind. Bruce.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm going to read you a quick oath before we get started, then we'll have 10 minutes to go through your grievance. If we're
Sure.
talking at the 8-minute mark, I will give you a 2-minute warning that we're almost done, okay?
Okay.
You solemnly affirm that the information you're about to give will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability to do so.
I do.
Okay, great. Tell us about your property and why you're here.
Okay, so my wife and I bought the property on Primrose Hill back in 2012. It's on 3.11 acres. There's two structures on the property that are independent of each other. We use it as a rental. I believe when we first bought it, I think the assessment was like around 220 or so. And I don't believe it's moved in all the years that we've had. It may have went up a little bit, but very little. I think before the reassessment, I think it was around 226. I'm guessing, I know it was somewhere in that range. So I knew you were doing the reassessment over the last year or two, and I was expecting it to go up, obviously, to be fair about it. It's just when we did get the new assessment that was done by the firm that you hired, I thought it came in a little bit high. And you have a copy of the paper that I sent where I used as comparables. I'm not so much disputing the value of the actual buildings. I'm disputing more so the value of the land. We have 3.11 acres, and the land is currently assessed at $120,400, which I think is a little high. Most of that lot is pretty much wooded. I'd say 70% of the 3 acres is wooded. It's not really conducive to usability and further building. And when I compare it with recent other properties in Rhinebeck that have just sold, which I think gives a true indication of what the assessed value is, I gave 2 examples there, one on Kerr Road and one on Ackert Hook. Both of those properties have quite a bit more acreage in mine. One has a little over 5, the other one has 7 1/3. But if you look at the average price per acre, theirs is substantially lower than mine. And like if you take $120,000, $400, $120,400, and divide it by 3.11 acres, which is my property, that's $38,713 per acre. I think that's high. Like I said, if you're using recent sales to be an accurate benchmark of property values, like I said, the other 2 examples that I gave you, the one on Ackert Hook, it works out to $26,000 per acre, and the one on Kerr Road works out to $32,000 per acre. So at $38,000, I just think I'm overassessed on the land value. Again, I'm not disputing the building value. The building value, I think, is very accurate. My point is, given where my lot is, the type of lot that it is, the fact that it's very wooded, and I'm limited what I can do with it, as well as the location, compared to the other 2. I just think I'm high with the assessment.
Bruce, I just have one question for you.
Sure.
What year did you say that you and Denise had bought this?
We bought it January 17th, 2012.
How do you know the day even?
I'm a numbers guy.
God.
I'm a
Okay.
numbers guy.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question for you, Mr. Murphy.
Sure.
So, why do you think that the price per acre of the Ackert Hook comparable is a better valuation for the land value of your property than the price per acre of the Kerr Road comparable?
Well, I'm just looking at, I thought the Ackert Hook property better resembled my property, but again, I didn't go out and look at, a ton of different properties. My focus was to get recent sales that, you know what I mean, to give a more accurate value. And those.
No, I understand that, but there are, from what you wrote, it seems to me that there's a spread between the price per acre of the 2 comparables, and I'm just wondering why you chose the Ackert Hook one rather than the Kerr Road one, or some other figure in between.
I'm going to be very honest on that. Of course, I'm going to pick the lower one. You would do the same thing. Anybody would. So
Okay.
you wouldn't come in and say, well, my neighbor's property is valued at 25,000, but it's okay. You can put mine at 29. You know, all, you know, apples being apples, oranges being oranges. So,
You're able to find
So,
any
but no,
comparable
nothing insured
properties?
out the land.
I'm sorry.
What did you say, Steve?
Go ahead, Lisa.
No, so I was just trying to make sure that I understood. There's nothing intrinsic about the land at 201 Acrid Hook that you think more closely resembles your property than the land at 1 Care Road? That's my question.
Without like really going in, you know, and studying the properties, which I did not do. No,
Okay, great,
No.
thank you. Just
I
what I
just
want.
used them basically as
All right.
reference points.
Okay, fine, thank you. Go ahead, Steve, I'm sorry.
I was just going to ask if you came across any properties that were closer in acreage to yours at the 3.11 as opposed to, you know, the 7 acre.
I didn't, only because I went on realtor.com and I just did recent sales, because I thought I read somewhere in the instructions and the directives, like how to properly prepare your grievance. And I could be wrong, but I thought it said you had to use recent land sales and stuff, or not land sales, recent property sales to give them, you know, a true idea of the property assessment's value.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions for Bruce and Denise? Nope. Okay, I think we're good. So if anything else you want to tell us?
Give me a moment just to look here. No, I don't think so. Like I said, I think I pretty much laid it out. You've got it in front of you on that piece of paper that I submitted. Like I said, to us, like I said, not really disputing the value of the building structures, more so the value of the land.
Okay, so the next step in the process is that we will deliberate in the next week or so, and then the town will send out the decision in early July.
Fair enough.
Okay. Okay. Have a great day. Enjoy the sun.
Okay, bye now.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good
Bye.
day.
You too. Thank you.
We have Tom Mansfield.
Okay, that's JP.
I'm gonna step out for this.
Yeah. Now that all makes sense. Should I let Tom in?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Tom.
Hi.
So before we get started, I'll read a quick oath and then we'll go through the grievance. We'll have about 10 minutes to go through it. If we get to the 8-minute mark and we're still discussing it, I'll give you a 2-minute warning that we're getting close to the end of time.
Okay.
You solemnly affirm that the information you're about to give will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability to do so.
Yes, I do.
Okay, great. Let's get started. Tell us about the property.
Okay. So this grievance, it's the old Equine building. It's now a company called Unlimited Today. I don't know if you're familiar with the building. It's 6579 Springbrook, across from the fairgrounds.
I know it.
Okay. Yeah, it's the property just south of the mobile station. And it's owned, Jonathan Cohen owns various buildings in that area under various entities. This one's owned by JPC ARD Ventures. And I represent that company and the other various entities that own some of the surrounding properties, which the reason that comes up because part of it is comparing it to the surrounding properties. We sent a letter in with the RP 524 that I'm not going to read entirely, but basically there's 2 things in the letter I was going to review and then a separate issue that we've been discussing with Mr. Sabia. The letter, part of it is the way it's coded, is it still has the old code 484. They bought the property, the company bought the property in July of 2018. And it was an equine retail shop. So looked like it was probably the correct code, small commercial structure, 484. I had a conversation last weekend with the woman, the assistant assessor. I forget her name. I know she does Poughkeepsie as well. And I pointed out, and she agreed, that the new use, it's basically light manufacturing. They manufacture prosthetic devices with 3D printers. It's pretty cool. They've gotten a bunch of state funding. Cuomo visited, Delgado visited. If you go to the website, you can see it's pretty cutting edge technology and whatnot. But it's not in any way commercial as far as retail space, what it was used for like before. And she suggested that the code should be 714, which is light industrial manufacturing and processing. I admit, and most assessors admit, that these codes get very confusing because there's so many. But the bottom line is, she thought whatever happens here with the assessment changes, they'll probably end up changing the code. And usually that those types of properties are assessed lower. Because there's no, to be honest, I'm not sure exactly why, but she said basically for various reasons, when they look at the code, 714s tend to be lower, I think, because there's no retail, there's no public interaction or whatnot. There's less use for the properties potentially. So that's an initial matter. The second thing is comparing it to surrounding properties. All the assessments on either side, their total assessment for this building went up, the one we're discussing, went up to 958 before that and change. Before this reassessment, it was 533. And the rub is, it's sort of obvious where they came up with that numbers. He paid 975 for it, a couple of years ago. So it's sort of, clear, what they did. But that be as it may, especially the land values seem awfully out of whack with the surrounding properties. The mobile station, which is virtually the same size of property and probably a lot more income, the total is 789. But I go through in my letter that the land values on the 4 surrounding properties are basically half of what they are on this property. Like this property, they have the land at 500. Mobile station, almost the same size. They have the land at 315. There's the next building north that burned, what was the diner? Which it's understandably that the property itself is, assessed low. But the land without the building is 285 for a much larger lot. It's 10, 15 acres. I have the averages in my letter. The building, the next building south, which is also owned by one of Jonathan's companies. The land is only 186 for virtually the same size, as opposed to the 500 for this parcel. So you'll see in my letter, basically the average land value for those 4 properties is 240 and change. And then for this property, it's 500. So, and this property has a little less frontage on Route 9, which is one of the main things I believe they look at. The diner property is probably not entirely comparable for the land because a lot of the land is way back behind it. But even without that, they have an acre or two right along Route 9, and yet their land value is much lower. The crux of it is partially that he sort of self-inflated, is the phrase that the assessors used at the area, because he's bought this, he bought the co-building, bought the school, and basically, arguably paid too much. He sort of at one point had the goal of having like this whole compound area there. Not sure if that's still going to happen, but because of that, he basically, the sellers did well. He paid, not just arguably, but definitely too much for the properties. And now on this one specifically, the assessment's been bumped up for some reason a lot more than the others. He's not contesting, there were changes to the other properties as well, to the co-space, to the where the school is and back in there. Not nearly as high. And, they seem to be in line with what I've seen other increases around Rhinebeck. I own a property in Rhinebeck, and I know several people. I've seen, ballpark what in general has been increases since the whole reassessment went through. And his other properties seem in line with what I've seen with that. And this one just sort of jumps out. And, the bottom line is because he paid, I would assume they just look at, hey, they're not looking at comparables. They're looking at what he actually paid for it. And the problem is in that area, they call it the Gateway District. The average rents for commercial space looks like about 12 to 18. We talked to some realtors and poked around. It's less than in the downtown village area. And this is before COVID. We're looking at historical rents. We're ignoring, what it might be going forward. But the rents look like about 12 to 18 per square foot. And he gets 18. He can't charge, maybe he could charge an extra 50 cents, but he can't really charge anything more, or they'll up and move. And this business, I think they have 20 some odd employees. They're generating, plenty of local income. They haven't laid anyone off recently. And their goal is to keep it here. And it's also been growing. They have major backing, Tony Robbins, who's the guy, Peter Guber, from Hollywood. I'm not sure where all the money comes from, but they have tons of backing. The Cuomo's giving them big grants. Delgado's working on a federal grant. And their goal is to keep it here. But like, running any business, especially in New York, is not simple. And if the taxes go up, this would be a $6,000 estimated increase, this year. So every year. So, factoring in $6,000 a year plus whatever, tax increases there may be in the future as a continuing increase, it's a big hit. They make, I think their total rent there is, it's 18, it's about 80 something thousand a year. And right now they're running break even at best. So basically this would put them into the red, not just this year, but on a permanent basis. So the goal basically is that, we assume it wouldn't get chopped down, down to where it was earlier, but just looking at the land portion, if the land portion was equalized with the surrounding properties, getting it down to the 750 range, we think would be fair. It would be a sizable increase from what is it now, the 579. So he'd be paying obviously much, somewhat more, but we don't think it's fair compared to the comparable properties, and especially compared to the rents that he can get, which is right now he's pretty much maxed out for that space.
Tom, just to interrupt a second, we're just about at 8.5 minutes.
All right.
Can I ask you what the prior land assessment was before it was reassessed? Do you have that number?
Yeah, it was 579. Oh, just the land by itself?
Yes, just the land.
I did not seem to have that because I do it off of parcel access, and that only has the current. But the total was 579. Currently, the land with the new assessment is 500.
Yeah, I see that.
So my assumption is that it was probably in the 2s or 3s. I think the assessor could get that for you.
Okay.
What year did he purchase that?
July of 2018.
Thank you.
When, market was at its peak. Part of it, there was other buyers that weren't offering quite as much, and he wanted to get it just to keep the sort of continuity. He owns the Co. is next to it. Right behind it is an office building.
I'm sorry, did you say 2013?
18.
18, sorry.
Yeah, just under 2 years ago.
Okay.
And then he owns back where the school, and it's basically along Springbrook. He owns that whole area back in there.
Got it.
And the nut of it is they want to keep the business there. They want to keep the building, et cetera. But it gets to a point where they can't charge in that part of town. We are looking at people say, well, in the downtown, they get a lot more, which is true. Retail, Rhinebeck, but it's really not comparable. This is, in the outskirts, they call it the gateway. And especially for manufacturing commercial types rents, we've basically been told 12, 18 by square foot is basically the max. And he understands, even when he went in and bought it, he knew he was probably overpaying. And, I represented him and I said, you better realize your taxes are going to go up some. But we didn't realize that it would be this, this large, especially on the land portion of it. And this classification thing, I don't know if you want to check with the assessors or whoever, but from what I gather, if it is reclassified, it should be lowered automatically or just about automatically because of that. Again, I'm not privy. I don't know this stuff inside out, but I have been told that that is clearly wrongly classified. And then when they do go through and reclassify it, that would almost automatically lower it. So yeah, and it's kind of a weird thing about the because usually what people pay for something is roughly, people look at it and say, okay, that's the value. But he knew going in, I'm pretty sure that he was overpaying, and they just wanted to get this building and convert it. And I think they thought they were going to get more rent for it, but then they realized that for this kind of use, this is pretty much the max rent. So right now they're running entirely, it's basically break even. 80 some odd and change a year is the rent, and that's their expenses. So you throw in this extra 6,000 ballpark year after year, then it makes it, it makes the math a lot tougher. And the intention is to keep it there, is not to sell it, that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, these things are all numbers.
Okay,
Any
great.
questions?
Nope, I think we're good. Thanks for the explanation. So the next step is that we will review this over the next couple of weeks, and the town will send out a letter in early July with its findings.
Okay. I had another property where we did a consent with them last week. That's the end of it, right? We'll just wait.
If you stipulated it, yeah.
Stipulated it.
Yeah, this same letter will go out around the same time.
So that one, we don't have to discuss. I was a little confused with Mr. Sabia.
No, we're done with
Okay.
that one.
All right. Great.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks for your time.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Tom.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
No one in the waiting room, but your next one isn't due till 11:40.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
You look spring-like today, Lisa.
What was that?
You look spring-like. That's a good color for you.
Yeah, you do too. Very, very chipper.
Yeah.
What kind of necklace is that, Gina?
It's called a mask necklace.
I was like, oh, that's a fancy little necklace she has on.
I could take it off. I had to go to Agway this morning and get topsoil and pet food. And
I thought it was like a pearl sort of situation you had there.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I would do that.
Coral
I
or
would
something.
totally do that.
Okay. So now do we have more yet?
Not in yet.
Not in yet.
Okay. But that's the next one, I guess.
I seem to have a huge stack of papers here.
Yeah, well, some of that is stuff that was submitted for Wednesday that was being supplemented, I believe.
That's late. That was
Yeah.
late or, okay,
But I haven't looked through it, so I'm not sure how much of that is the case.
okay.
The next
I
down,
just saw that too, but I think Donna categorized it to the actual times that they were supposed to be in, so we should
Oh,
have,
yeah,
once
that
we get to that spot.
Okay,
and then the very bottom set in the bottom of the box is everything that was just dropped off. So they haven't come to talk to you, but they've submitted a grievance.
Okay.
okay. And we deliberate that too, Donna, even if we haven't seen them in person,
Correct,
and just look at their materials.
correct.
Okay,
And I'm working on getting your comp sheets ready for Monday.
okay.
Okay. Terrific. Thank you.
Now, some of them we do have, Donna. If you know which ones we already have, that would save you a little bit.
Yes, I actually have Matt's stacks
Oh, good.
grievance forms, so I'm flipping through them.
Okay,
And as I find one missing, then I'm printing 5 copies.
okay,
And I'll
great.
just keep going from there.
I have Smythe.
Okay. Oh, there's Steve. Okay. I think we could go ahead.
Where you going?
Here comes Smythe. Hi, can you hear us? Good morning. Please, you're hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Hi.
Hi.
So we're gonna get started. I'll start with a quick oath and then we'll get into your agreements and your property. We'll have 10 minutes to do that. If we go past 8 minutes, I will give you a 2-minute warning, okay? Do you solemnly affirm that the information you are about to give will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability to do so?
I do.
Okay, let's get started. So you walk us through your grievance?
Yes. I did attach appraisal. I don't know if you have that.
I don't see it.
I don't have it, but if Donna has it, we will get it before we deliberate.
Okay.
So basically, the land was appraised as late as 2016 as $129,000, and then it went up to $465,000, if not higher. I don't have it right in front of me. And when I look at my neighbor's land is significantly less. I have an obstructed view of the river, which says so in the appraiser. And I don't understand how it could jump up from 129,000 to such an increase. And so my property taxes would go from $7,000 to $14,000. The house itself is a little small ranch house that is in complete disarray. I mean, the house itself is only $200,000, if that. It was appraised at $300,000 in 2016. I paid $306,000 for the house in 2016. And like I said, all the houses next to me, specifically, I have the lots and blocks of houses near me that their value is significantly less than mine, and I don't understand why. So, like, for example, if I gave you the lot number, I don't know if that helps, right next door to me, they're acre by acre, and I have 0.77 acre. Their same size is valued at $177,000, and they have a much more better view of the Hudson, unobstructed view of the Hudson. I have a much narrower view of the Hudson. I have a giant rock, so I have a giant view of a rock, and I'm right on the railroad. So I don't understand the disparity between the same acreage. He has a much clearer view. His is 177,000. And mine jumped up to, I think it is $465,000. I don't understand that. That's what I'm basically grieving. Like, how did that assessment, how did you come up with that?
Ms. Smythe, our purpose here today is to hear from you,
Okay.
for you to tell us what you think we need to focus on when we deliberate on your grievance. Questions like that are probably better addressed to the assessor in a different venue.
How many acres do you have, Elizabeth?
0.77.
So I just, if you wouldn't mind, I just want to clarify something.
Mhm.
On your form, on your complaint form, I see a total assessment of $675,000.
Right.
Is that the assessment, or is the 465 that you were just
Well, because
referencing?
the land, the thing that is so disturbing to me, because they want me to break it out. So I go on the website, and they have assessed the land at $465,000. That's what is astounding to me.
Okay.
So how could I even, what position could I possibly take? The house I know is not worth very much. It's a ran down ranch. And the land itself, I mean, I have, a narrow strip of land, it faces into the back, an obstructed view of the river by a giant rock. I understand it's a river view, but my neighbors have a much more significant view, and their property has been appraised to the right and the left drastically less money. So I just don't understand how that assessment came out, and I'm contesting that. I mean, I don't even know what the purpose of the assessment of it. I just don't understand how you could jump up from $129,000 to that for the land alone.
Uh-huh.
The house has stayed the same. They have not changed the value of the house.
Uh-huh.
May I call you Elizabeth?
Yes, please.
Elizabeth, did you come in and speak with the assessor when you got your new assessment, revised assessment? Did you
No, I
call them and,
no. I
and
could
come
not
in?
get through. I just got it, and I was told to just do online, go online and try to get a date or just fill out this form.
Okay, that's absolutely fine. I just wanted to know. And you have a brick ranch house? What's the age and how many bedrooms and baths?
1955. It's 3 bedrooms. And there has been absolutely no updates whatsoever done to this house. Original electrical, original plumbing, no central AC, no
How many baths?
dishwasher, 1 bath. There's a toilet downstairs, no sink, but just a toilet in the basement.
So, and is it a full basement?
Yeah, it's a full basement. It's not a finished basement. I mean,
Yeah, I got it.
but it's not completely raw, you know.
Yeah, thank you.
I have another question for you. So, did I understand you correctly to say, sorry, did I understand you correctly to say that, you purchased the house for $306,000?
Yes,
And that was in 2016?
yes.
Can you tell us why you think, if you do, that the property hasn't appreciated at all in the 4 years that you've owned it?
What do you mean depreciated? The value?
Well, in terms of value, I mean, you're saying that the value of the
Because
property.
I can only go on the last assessment because I'm going on the last appraisal I had. So the appraisal was $3,006. That's what I paid for it. And that's
Right,
what I'm
but that
going
was
for.
4 years ago, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So my
And-
question is, do you think that the property is worth no more than it was 4 years ago?
No,
Okay, so how much, then what would you say that the differential is between what it was worth in 2016 and what it's worth now?
I would stand by the appraisal. The appraisal, the entire property is worth $300,000 to me, which is what the appraisal said in 2016.
Okay,
And I
so,
would,
I'm sorry.
house
didn't mean
and
to-
land is pretty much. I think the house is worth $200,000 and the land is worth 100, maybe a little, I don't know in this current times, between what's going on with the coronavirus and what's going on in the price. I don't know real estate. I don't know what it would
Okay.
be worth. The last
Okay.
time I had it appraised was 2016.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have any questions? Okay, so the next step in the process is for us to deliberate. We'll get a decision to the town, and the town will send you a letter in early July.
Thank you
Okay.
so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
No one in the waiting room, and you're ahead of schedule. 5 minutes.
Have we seen we're north of 100 people these last 3 days, right?
Yes. Yeah. I think
I'm
it's
on
120,
111, although
111.
I think there have been more properties.
Wow.
111.
I've got another stack here of ones that were just dropped off, so we're not done yet.
But you know, that's actually less than what I was anticipating.
Really?
Yes, I would have thought that half the town would have been grieving.
Well, we haven't seen the STIPs yet, so I don't know how many were
Right, he settled.
settled. And then I've got another stack here, 5 or 6 inches deep of ones that just got dropped off that didn't book an appointment. So it
There's
might
only
be about
approximately 20 steps.
20. That's not
Yeah.
bad.
There's approximately 20 steps, you said?
Yeah.
No, stipulations. That means
Stipulation.
ones that he settled.
Sorry, John.
I was like, steps? That's a
And
lot
then
of
you're on
steps.
step one, my friend.
Paul Freeman in the waiting room.
Okay. That's for Andrew Solomon.
Again.
Okay, we're good.
Good.
Hi, Paul, can you hear us?
Hello?
Paul?
Yes.
Oh,
Great.
good. You're good. Can you
Okay.
hear us?
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay,
fine.
okay.
No problem.
So we're gonna get started with a quick oath and then we'll go through the grievance. We'll have 10 minutes to talk. If we're still discussing at 8 minutes, I'll give you a 2-minute warning, okay?
Okay.
Does you solemnly affirm that the information you're about to give will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability to do so?
Yes.
Tell us about property.
So this is a request. It's essentially a grievance related to a denial of an ag exemption. And I think what probably happened is when the original application was submitted, not enough information was provided. And I think what I've tried to do is work with the owner of the property and put together all of the information that's necessary to prove that we are entitled to an ag exemption. So as you know, if it's more than 7 acres, which this is by soil and conservation 44 point. There's a soil report included, 44.9 acres. The property is being leased to a farmer. The farmer has an active farm for which revenues are generated. The law mandates more than $10,000 in aggregate for the operation. And what we provided in the context of this application was the Schedule F of the farming operation for 18 and 19, both of which show well in excess of $10,000. And so basically what we're looking for is essentially a determination that we now qualify for an ag exemption for the 44.9 acres.
Mr. Freeman, this seems pretty straightforward. I have a couple of questions. How many acres will be in farming?
The 44.9 acres. The lease encompasses 50, I think it's 55, but that includes kind of the roads around.
Okay.
If you look at an aerial view, and there is one included in the application in the soil map.
Yep, got it.
When you look at that, you can see it's the top parcel, and I'm happy to hold it up if you want to take a look at it. It's the top part of the parcel, and there is a road that runs right here. And that road kind of you can see it lightly in the picture, and it's basically everything above the road is what's being farmed.
And what are they farming?
They're growing hay for the farming operation.
Okay, great. Thank
Yeah,
you.
there
That's
you
all
go.
I have.
That's yeah. So you see,
Thank you, Tom. Fred.
I don't know if you can see what I'm
Nice,
doing.
Fred. Yep.
Yeah. So everything above that road that you see running through the middle of the parcel.
Got it. And has it been planted for this year?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have pictures that I asked the client to send me, and I'm happy to. I'm not sure if I can share my screen with you, but if I can, I'm happy to show you a few pictures.
I'm okay.
I
Sure,
don't feel like
sure.
it.
Do you want to do that? I can let him if you'd like.
Okay.
If that's
Let me
easy to
just
do.
get there. It won't take me long. Yep. Okay. So let's see. I'll open this.
And share twice.
Share right here. Let's see if that. Can you guys see that or no?
It's a
I can't
whiteboard.
see anything.
View options.
Oh,
You have to choose which application you've got the.
I see. I chose the wrong one. There we go. So this
okay.
is the. They've already started the first harvest of hay. We're doing the cuts this past week because it's been dry, and I think they do a total of 3 over the course of the year.
Great. Thank you.
Yep. So I can.
Just stop sharing. Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anybody else have any more questions?
Nope.
Okay, so the next step is for us to do some deliberations over the next week or two, and the town will get a letter out to you in early July with the decision.
And will that come to me or does it go directly to the client?
Donna, mailing address is New York, New York, so I'm assuming
That's where I would send it,
would go there.
to the mailing
Okay.
address. If I can, I try to send it to the attorneys also, but sometimes I miss that.
I'll put a
Okay.
note on the grievance form.
To CCU in addition, Paul?
Yeah. If possible, I'd like to get CC'd.
I will try. I can't guarantee I will remember though.
That's
I'll write
okay.
it on the form, Donna.
That's all right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
So we're all set. Thank you all for your time. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Enjoy
Yeah.
the rest of your day.
You too. Take care.
Bye. Are we supposed to have 3 for Schreiber? Because I think I only have 2.
You only have 2 applications. He made 3 appointments. And when I was speaking to him on the phone, he stated the third one is his comp, so he felt he needed to make an appointment for it.
Oh, okay. But he's only got 2 applications.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
I think I'm supposed to call him, but I'm not 100% sure.
I've got somebody in the waiting room, 464-6885.
Yes,
That's
that's
him.
him. That's his cell.
Oh, shit. Sorry. Wait a minute. Sorry.
Damn it, Fred.
We won't hold it against you, Fred.
Par for the course in my house,
Yeah, right.
and worse.
Mr. Schneider, take yourself off mute.
Schreiber.
Driver.
Hi, can you hear us?
You can.
Yeah, hello?
Yes, we're here.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're gonna get
Hello.
started. Hello?
Yep, I'm here.
I'm gonna read a quick oath and then we'll get into your properties, okay?
Okay.
You solemnly affirm that the information you're about to give will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability to do so.
Yes.
Okay, so you have 2 here. First one doesn't have a number. It's just Route 308.
That's a vacant parcel.
All right, let's start with that one, okay?
Okay. The 9-acre vacant parcel, right?
Correct.
All right. Well, my question in the written material there is you've more than doubled my assessment on that parcel, and I'd like to understand why. It's as you see in my written explanations there, it is a totally landlocked, not accessible from the fields below. Quickly, my father bought it at a tax auction many years ago, and it adjoins the 31 acres. and it's been used as a woodlot since, well, we acquired the 31 acres in 1947 when he bought the apple orchard over here by the golf course. And so it's been used as a woodlot. We've logged it maybe 4 or 5 times. To access the 9 acres, you could come up onto the 31, and as you see on the dotted line on one of my maps there, you follow that at all? That's the only way to get to the top of the hill where you'll be able to build. So I guess, go back to the original question, why was the assessment more than doubled?
Mr. Schreiber, our purpose here today is to hear from you, to let you tell us what you think we need to focus on when we deliberate on this grievance. We're not deliberating today.
Okay.
So questions of that sort are probably better addressed to the assessor at a different time, not today.
All right. Well, you see my attached material then, the written material is basically what I have explained here. And it is saying that it's inaccessible.
Yep.
The 31 acres has a deeded right of way. The 9 acres never came with that, obviously, so it can't be separated out. And it's basically as a woodlot. And I feel that the original assessment that was on there was $40,000 is probably excessive, but I'll accept the $40,000 as the assessment on it. I am trying to sell it. I've had a sign out on 199 for more than 6 years, and I get lots of calls off of that. One time I had it listed with Prudential, which is now Berkshire Hathaway, and it's actually they weren't able to come up with any sales. So I've gotten more signs, more action off of that sign, but they all think it's the fields that you see right behind it. And it's not, obviously. It's to the rear, the half-mile driveway, and Paul Massey's the contractor, $350,000 to put a road to my property line, and then you have to go up into the property if you even want to build up there. So I tell people right from the start, it's a $700,000, $600,000 building lot. I've been asking $250,000, $275,000 for it, and no replies. They all want to buy the 9 acres. I said, well, it can't be separated because no other access to that. So that's my plea, and I think it was quite egregious to more than double the evaluation on it, unless you have some real. I can't understand any other kind of explanation as to why you did that. And so I'd like to see the $40,000 on it that it was.
Okay.
Is there any questions from you people about the topo lines? I have a topography map that explains the rock formation and the high elevation of how it's inaccessible from the fields. Is that included in your packet of information there?
Yes, sir. You submitted that. We have it.
Yes. Okay. So then you'll see. It's in one of those where you'll see how you'd have to get to the top of that 9 acres. If I was able to come off of Louise Terrace, it's $1 million view, but that's Todd Baywright has the one just to the north of me, that 10-acre parcel. He was able to get the last lot off of Louise Terrace, and where you'd build is over in Rhinebeck side. So actually the best use for all of this property is to sell enough off of in front of the 3 or 4 people in Milan so that they could get a view. But that's not going to happen, I don't believe. Our problem is the 9 acres right now.
Okay.
So
Understood.
that's,
I don't-
yeah, go ahead.
Any questions? Did we lose
No.
him?
Any other questions about it?
Should we move on to the next one?
Sure, let's move on to the next one then.
Okay, and then I guess what I like, when will I be able to get an answer as to even why you've, unless you lower the assessment back to the 40,000, I need to know a reply as to what the reason for that is, for whatever it is, if it's more than what it is, it's been stated. All right,
Well,
to the next one?
yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, that's all. I guess we'll wait to see what you folks can decide on that.
Correct.
And
We will
then,
just we'll deliberate all of our grievances in the next week or two, including yours,
Yeah.
and we'll get a
Okay.
letter out in early July.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, let's go to 12. All right, the next one, I guess, is the two houses that I own, number 1244 and number 1246, Route 308.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. My question here is, you've assessed my 1244 at $195,800. And the house right next door, as a comparison, I own 1246, and you have that at 190,900. And that house, well, 1244, as you can see in my written statements here, 0.26 acres. Right next door is a comp. It's 0.6 acres, so it's more than twice the size of the 1244. 1246 has a bath and a half, has 3 bedrooms, and partial basement, and it's assessed for less than my 1244. 1244 has about 4-foot clearance on one side and maybe 7 feet on the other side of the house. So I guess I'm speechless as to how you can come up with something that with a house that's smaller, et cetera, that I just stated, with a higher assessment. I'm thinking 180,000 is probably close to what it should be. And that the tenants that have been in there in 44, I've had tenants in there for 18 years at $1,000 a month. I've never raised their rent, and they are, as we speak, interested in buying the property, and they've offered $180,000 on it, and they have been looking around for shopping for a long time. So anyway, they've taken care of a lot of the property themselves. So anyway, rent's been $1,000 a month for 18 years. I'm a nice landlord, I guess. And
So, Mr. Schreiber, so
Yep.
is the $180,000 assessed value that you're seeking for 1244 based
Yes.
on offer price that your tenants have made to you?
yeah, what else have I got to go by?
I mean, did you look at any potential comparable sales in the area to see what those properties were selling for and comparing them to this one?
No, I have not. But I'm comparing to the one next door, which is, like I said, twice the size of property and a bigger house. So
Understood, but you don't have that one for sale, do you?
Yes.
These people would like to buy that, but they need to buy the 1244 first. But I'm giving them first refusal on number 1246 also.
Okay.
But
Schreiber, are they built the same time? Is one newer than the other?
this 1244 was probably built back in the 50s, I think. I remember as a kid, it was an empty lot. And the people that owned the house to the right, which is next to the church out here, they owned this particular lot, and a guy stuck that house in there. And should have never put there, but there weren't any zoning laws back then. So, but you know, of all my houses, and I've had at least a dozen houses out here in Rock City, this was the most complete of a house, but I've had 3 wells on the property. Actually, one of the wells feeds number 1246. And so, although it was the most complete house I've bought, it was, it bit me in the rear end, 3 wells and another septic system, blah, 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 you know. So, and it is in need of a new roof as we speak, but that's not, that's, you know, not much. So, yeah, I go ahead.
Is one of them, I vaguely know them and I've shown them before for clients, and I like them. which is the one that has the pretty site on the stream?
Yeah, that's across the street. That's number 1231.
So that's not these. We're not that's not these. Okay.
No, you'd get a lot of money just for the fact that the stream runs through it.
Yeah, it's
And,
so pretty. Okay, I
yeah,
think that's all
that's
my questions.
Yeah. And I looked in the assessment roll, and I tried to look for other houses right around me, and that poor lady Satman right across the street from these two properties, you have her assessed at $400 and some odd thousand, and she's asleep. She had this switch or doesn't understand that her property. All three townships actually meet in her backyard. And but to assess that little cement block house that was probably put there in the 50s at $404,000 is way out of line. So something's wrong there, but that's not my problem. So, but there's a little old lady that's making up for she's, I guess, paying taxes on that $404,000 house over there. Satman is her name. But anyway. No, I'm just looking at the inequity of these two houses here, and I've gotten to wonder that I believe people have looked at other houses, my tenants, and they're offering me $180,000 on this 1244. So I think that's probably a fair price. I can't believe houses are selling for that much. This house is squeezed in there really tight, and it was repossessed from the Veterans Administration. That was the third house that I bought back in the 70s after I started collecting houses out here. Probably because I was a veteran, I was able to get preference in a line of people that were lined up to buy it. It was a foreclosure. So.
Any other questions?
No.
Actually, Mr. Sabia, I think it may have been Mr. Sabia, somebody came out to visit this house. And my tenants told me that somebody was walking around the house, I presume, and he came in. He let them come in because they're at home all the time. And so whoever it was actually walked around inside the house to verify it was not a 3-bedroom or whatever the previous descriptions were on it. It's not a full basement. There's a third of it is crawl space, and et cetera. So somebody that came to visit this 1244 actually got inside the house. And I'll let anybody in any of my houses, I'm not trying to hide anything. I just want it to be accurate, So.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
So as I said earlier, the next step is for us to do some deliberating, and the town will get a letter out to you early July with decisions.
In July?
Yes.
Yep. Well, all righty. I look forward to the decisions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, folks. Hey, take the rest of the day off. It's a nice day.
You too.
Absolutely.
I guess you're all not in one room there, right?
No, we're not.
No.
I haven't gotten used to that kind of technology yet. Oh, well. All right. I guess that's it.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you, folks.
Good
Have
one.
a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Is that it?
I think that's it.
We have Sheldon Walters.
Are we calling him?
Right.
I'm going to, only because I'm afraid they're not going to be able to do the Zoom thing.
Okay,
Wait a minute. Who do we got now?
No.
Sheldon Walters, he's the one that was confused and we missed the appointment on Monday. Or Wednesday.
On
sorry.
Monday. On Wednesday.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Let me see if I can dig out his stuff.
Just close. Just
No, I
close.
thought we were done.
Close to margaritas from Gabby's.
Exactly. Or have you?
Pitch your size.
Let me know when you want me to call.
No, I was going to say
Just give me
frozen,
one.
the
Donna,
frozen
do you
sake
remember
margaritas.
what his appointment
What was that?
was? What
The
time?
frozen sake
Ten
margaritas.
20 on the
Jesus.
27th.
I have to
What
try
time? I'm
those.
sorry,
Where's
Mary,
that?
what
I
time?
have to try those.
They're pretty
Say
good.
that again. What time?
10:20.
Apparently, I've been eating out too much during this time.
No,
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
good thing, though. You're supporting the local business
his
owners.
appointment, Lisa, was at 2:50
Restaurant
on
workers.
Wednesday.
Yeah, right?
250.
20.
Well, who's Jody? Are they related?
I don't know. You'll have to ask him that.
Okay.
250. Oh,
Oh, here's Sheldon. I got him.
hold on. Don't
What?
let him in yet.
No,
For
I-
Mulberry.
He's near Arndt and Leibowitz.
Before Tony Tedisco.
Monday. Oh. Oh boy. Wednesday. And he was between who?
He was by Arndt and Leibowitz.
And before Tedisco.
And, okay, after Miller, Sparks, Unger, Fajardo, Clements. Oh, here it is. Waters.
Hey, do any of you guys know the designer from the 80s, Betsy Johnson?
Yes, I remember the name.
Right? Steve Schreiber used to be her boyfriend.
Oh, no kidding.
No.
No
They
way.
used to go to Studio 54 a lot.
Really?
Yeah, he's got an amazing past.
I bet he does, having that sort of past.
He's
Right,
also,
absolutely.
he's the famous guy who put the fork in the road at Rock City.
Oh, no
Really?
kidding.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
that
is that-
quirky artist
Yeah.
Wow.
and painted the propane tank like a Prozac.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's him. That's all of his stuff.
All right, let's go outside. We have visitors.
You want me to call her now or him now?
Yes.
Yes, call him now. Go ahead.
Okay.
I like this, Fred.
Yes, who's doing this, Fred or Matt?
Fred.
I cannot take the
Nice.
credit for that.
Hey, where was that the rest of the time?
I
Know
know.
it.
We learned this too late.
He's gonna add a
I know.
drum.
I was doing that the whole time.
Donna with the
I didn't think-
town.
I thought you had maps printed out.
No.
A little early, is that okay?
You want to go do them all over again?
Ready to speak?
Yes.
No, we'll
Okay,
pass
let's
on
get
that
there.
one.
Let's go with
Speakerphone
Mr.
now.
Walter.
You're welcome. Okay, you're on speaker.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Hello.
I would like to preface for the record that we did try to contact on the appointed hour on the 27th, and certainly a misunderstanding because we felt that the assessor's office would be calling us, and you can reference that to the messages that we left on the 27th and the 28th. So
Oh, we're good.
my grievance is, number one, I've had an association with Rhinebeck spanning.
Hold on. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry. Hold on
55
one
years.
second.
And
Steve, do you need to
I,
give her an oath?
When I get a breath in, I will.
I've
Yeah.
filed for a grievance in the past,
Hey, Miss
and
Walters. Just 1 minute. The grievance board has to ask you something, okay?
really,
That's okay. Go ahead.
We just need an oath before we get started. Do you solemnly affirm that the information you're about to give will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability to do so?
I didn't understand a word of that question.
Let's try again. Do you solemnly affirm that the information you are about to give will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability to do so?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, let's get started then.
Okay, as I said, I have had an association with Rhinebeck for spanning almost 75 years, so I'm very aware of this community. And I have never filed a grievance in regard to any of the properties that I've owned in the Rhinebeck area. I did have my real estate license in the 1970s and 80s. And when I spoke with Matthew on the first contact, he did send me the comps that Tyler used. So I'm assuming that you all have that comp in front of you.
We do.
Okay, so you will note that of the 5 houses, 3 of those are on Chestnut Street, which we all are pretty aware between Route 9 and Mulberry Street is the most affluent and desirable area in Rhinebeck. Also to note, they all have either carriage barns or a garage, 2-story. The other home on Parsonage Street is, I would have to say, I quite wonder how this 41 Mulberry Street address can be compared to a corner lot that also has a huge garage, which is 2-story, and has a staircase leading up to the 2nd story. So it's just, like my comparison to Chestnut Street and this section of Mulberry Street, which spans from Chestnut to Platt. It's like comparing a peach to a Vidalia onion. I don't find any comparison whatsoever as to the architectural elements of any of the homes, and just the mere fact that they have, deep full lots and, the amenities, even the houses that I did, that appear on this comp. So I would appreciate your consideration, because I certainly think an increase of $180,000 increase in our assessment is a bit out of whack. So do you have any more questions for me?
There was one comp, the 7 West Chestnut, that you both had on your list. Did you have any problems with that one?
I had no problems with the one on Center Street. It also does have a garage, which we have no facility on our property that houses a vehicle.
Right, okay.
Okay, I'm ready for any more questions.
Anybody have any more questions?
Just give me 1 sec. No, I have no questions.
I'm good.
Okay, so I think we're good. So the next step is for us to deliberate as a board. A decision will go out to you at beginning of middle of July with the decision, okay?
Okay, I thank you for consideration and have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you, you too.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, bye-bye.
Bye. Okay.
Now, Captain Steve, these that we have left in our stack, do we look through those in preparation for deliberating them on Monday? Yeah, the dropped off.
I mean, I think we can look through all of them ahead of time, but we're not going to do any actual deliberating on them until Monday.
No, exactly, but we should have read through them, don't you think?
Probably a good idea. Yeah, I would think so.
Okay, and then those will go at the bottom of our pile of what we've actually heard.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to depend on how quick we can get the town's assessments, right? Their comps and what they use, because that's what we need to compare to what we were given by the grievers, right?
Right.
So we may be going through them in a little bit different order. So if we're more familiar with all of them, I think that would be helpful.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
If
I
anyone wants,
have ready for you for Monday, all of Wednesdays. I did all the comp printing and
You're the best.
days.
Wow, you're the best. That's great.
Thank you, Donna.
if anyone wants to come in
Problem.
early Monday, that's fine too, to start looking at stuff. I'll be there at 8 o'clock.
Okay, but
Matt?
we're meeting at 9:30.